and welcome back to the channel. So just a quick video today to explain a bit about the history that we found out about the house. So what we found out mainly at the moment is from a book that we discovered at the library, which is a book written by the Archaeological and Historical Society of Mayenne about this town, which is Ombrière. It's now called Ombrière-les-Vallées. It was called Ombrière, then Ombrière-le-Grand, and now it's Ombrière-les-Vallées. So it's a really good book. It explains a lot about the history, things that we knew already. This town was founded by William the Conqueror, who built a Motte and Bailey castle here because it was a really strategic point for defending Normandy from the rest of France. So he was fighting to gain terrain around here, and this was actually a really important spot for him. So that castle was later obviously developed into a stone castle with stone defences, as a lot of them were when they were more important. Anyway, in the book we found a passage about this house, which was quite exciting, saying that it was probably built in the early 14th century, so you can see evidence of this in things like this archway just here, which would once have been a big stone archway. Obviously at a later date somebody put these windows in, which sort of ruined that a bit, but the floor level would have been different because, as you can see, this archway isn't very high, but the floor level would have been lower. A lot of things have been changed on this building. Here we have some stonework that you can see there were metal bars coming out, so this was probably reused from a window somewhere else when things were moved around, because the doorway wouldn't have been here originally. Upstairs you can see this stonework here is a very fancy window that would have had stone coming down the middle. Yes, Milo, hello. And it would have finished here where you can see the carvings stop, and this has later been transformed into a doorway when they put in this nice stone staircase, which again I believe has come from somewhere else because there are carved bits that don't make sense to this building. Since William's stone castle was later dismantled and reused, it's very probable that that window, for example, comes from there. So I'm going to show you around the side of the building as well, so you can see it from all angles, because it's an odd shape. So around this side, so this building on the side here was a shop. We don't know what it was originally. We know that later on it was a forge and that had a chimney in it. So that's Amy's room up there, and that's the shop down here, and you can see where this was added on to the building. So this was a later building. This was 1600s maybe, early 1600s possibly. So these are the cornerstones of the house here, and that's where that was added on. And here is the house. So that's Dan's room, Josh's room. That's the door in the living room, and that's the other window of the living room. It's quite busy at this time of night. So obviously another building was added onto it as well, and we own the bottom part of this building where the bad pointing is. Again, you can see it comes up to here. So this is our cellar down here. So that's actually under the neighbouring building, which is abandoned. So there we go. This is the oldest bit of the house, and it's a very big building for its time, so we're not quite sure what its original purpose would have been. You can see some stonework there. There were obviously bars in that. So it's very difficult to know what this building would have been originally. It's very big for its age. So that's the outside of the building. The other bit, which is not mentioned in the book and which the archaeologists didn't know about because it is hidden around the back, is the tower. So the room on the bottom floor, which is where we do the washing, and this lovely bathroom needs a lot of work to it, are part of a tower. So this is a tower that would have been part of the original stone defences for the castle. So we believe this was on the castle wall. We're not quite sure how exactly it functioned. Hello, Milo, darling. But you can see from the shape of it, it goes in, well, you maybe can't because of the camera, but the walls go in at a funny angle, so it's going to be really difficult to make a bathroom in here, but we will manage it somehow. You can see some of the strange stonework that sort of comes out here. The thickness of the walls is very thick. And if we go at the top, you can see, I mean, Nick realised on our first visit that we were looking at a tower. It took me a little bit longer to understand what he meant. But I will put in a video that we took at the neighbours. We went round to, there's a pipe that needs fixing on the outside. And so we went round and had a look, and then it became very obvious that it was a tower. So this is the footage that we took when we went round to the neighbour's house to have a look at the outside of the building, because we're concerned about water which is infiltrating through the wall because of a pipe that is not connected. So you can see the bottom window, which was modified in the 50s when they got planning permission to change that. The middle window, which is clearly very old with the stones that surround it. And that top opening, which was probably defensive, but it might still have been a window. It's quite unclear. But you can clearly see the shape of the tower and where the house was added onto it. And there's the side view. That is where the tiny hole that I've just been looking out of is. You can't really see it on this video, but it's up at the top there, just below the roof height. So this was when I realised Nick was right, and this was indeed a tower that we were looking at. So yeah, back to the inside. So this is the top of the tower. This is above the bathroom, and below that the washing room. This is the top floor. So at some point the top of the tower has been cut off. We don't know if it was wood or stone. We don't know if it continued much higher or how it was finished. But it's had a small floor put in for God knows what reason at sort of, I mean, it's head height there. Which makes it quite inconvenient for looking out of what would have been a defensive hole for shooting out of. So if you look dead ahead there, that is what remains of the keep for the castle. So we are looking straight onto that. So this hole would have been used for shooting people who got past the castle walls and into the area where the keep was. This would have been used to defend then. We have another opening here, which has a grille across it and is half hidden because of the floor height. Because obviously the floor heights have been messed about with a lot in this building. And that is Milo trying to get upstairs. He's not allowed in the attic at the moment. So you can just see out of that. And then obviously below in the bathroom we have a window, and below that they put in planning permission to change it. It was just a small slit originally, because that would have been bottom floor level, and obviously for security reasons they wouldn't have had a window at that level. So this is what remains of the tower. As you can see, the house was built onto it. So that's the tower wall, and the house was attached to it at a later date. And we don't really know. I mean, again, horrible pointing has been done everywhere, so we can't really tell, but you can sort of see how here it bulges out. So maybe the walls came this way, maybe this was another doorway like the other ones, because there must have been some entranceway into it, and that's the end of the wall on this side, and the house was added on from there. I mean, that's next door's house, so that was added on at a later date, before the slope here would have been the roof slope, obviously. It's a very steep, tall roof. So yeah, that's a bit about the history so far that we have discovered. We're going to look into the families who are named on our sales papers and see what we can find about those, because they go back to the early 1800s, I think. So that will be interesting. So yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.